This is a video on how to replace the battery in a Nixon Canon watch specifically. Most recently this battery died and I was looking for some videos or just some literature or anything on how to replace it by yourself, and I was pretty frustrated because there were no videos that actually explain the process or just like a how-to or even what type of battery it took. So I was took it apart myself and then ended up getting a battery for it. So basically I've got the watch here. The battery is dead right now. I've got one of these mini screwdrivers. The screws in the watch are like a Phillips, but this is a 3/64, just a flathead little mini screwdriver that I'm sure you can get with an iPod repair kit or a computer screwdriver set or something like that. The battery that's currently in here that died, now this battery lasted me for over 2.5 years, probably almost 3 years. It's a great watch. I wear it everywhere, and the battery's lasted for that long, so this is great. But I did take it apart, and the current battery in there, the model is, I believe, an SR626SW. But when I went to Radio Shack, they have an equivalent there that it's called the 377. I don't know if that's, I'm sure that's standard across all Radio Shacks, but basically you can see here on the back that this battery, the 377 from Radio Shack, equates to all these types. And here you have on the back the SR626SW. So with that, let's go ahead and start taking this apart. And what's cool about it is that you can take it apart really easily with this mini screwdriver just by unscrewing these 4 screws in the back. You don't have to send it in. I went to the Nixon website, and they said, oh yeah, for a fee you can send it in. We'll replace the battery for you. It seems a little ridiculous because it seems like it's pretty easy to do. So let's give it a try. Okay, so I have unscrewed all the screws. Let's see if you can see this here. Try to get it in the camera. All the screws are out, and what's cool about this is that you can basically just lift this top part right off. So this separates really easily from the lower half of the watch. And in here, you can see you have the battery. There's kind of like a little plastic shroud that goes all the way around the inside of this, and that helps keep the battery in place, as well as all the other parts of the watch. But if you look here, you can see that there is a little metal piece covering the battery. It kind of keeps it in place right here. And so you're going to actually want to, and I don't know if I'm doing this wrong, but I found out that if I start to slowly unscrew this screw, not crazy, but just enough to pop this battery out, then I can slide this old battery out, this dead battery, and get the new one in there. But first, we're going to have to take apart or take off this plastic shroud. So here, there are kind of like 4 little spots where you can fit something up in there. Kind of pop it out really easily like that. And you're going to pop this plastic shroud right out. Like that. Alright. So then you have the watch, or the inside of the watch. Here's the battery. So again, we're going to very gingerly unscrew this screw right here, just enough to where we can pop this battery out, this old one, and get a new one in. So let's do that. And as I'm unscrewing this, you can see, or you probably can't, but this little metal piece is starting to come out, or starting to loosen up a little bit, just enough. I don't want to unscrew the screw all the way because I'm afraid I won't be able to get back in. It's really small. Let's try this a little bit more. There you go. Boom. Popped it right out. I don't know, you can't see it very well, but it does say SR66SW on there. Just to verify. And the battery I got from Radio Shack does equate to this. There are many other options out there as well. Okay, so if you guys can see that, got this new battery in there, and kind of was difficult to pop back in, but because it's just such a small part. But as soon as you can get in there, then we're gonna go ahead and back this screw back in right here. So once you get the battery seated, and then you have this little metal lip that kind of holds it in place, then we're going to screw that down to secure it. And I'm not tightening it up like crazy, but it's tight enough. Everything else in here looks good. Let's pop this plastic shroud back on and make sure that the watch works before I actually screw the whole body together. And on this plastic shroud, there is kind of a little lip at this end, a little notch at this end that fits. You have to kind of like fit it into this hole and drop it in so that it seats right, seats properly. Okay, so that looks good. Ah, perfect. And looks like we got time again. So I'm stoked. I'm stoked I didn't have to send this back in. I'm stoked I didn't have to pay any money for somebody to do it for me, because that's ridiculous. And now we're just gonna slap this body back on. And it's pretty easy. I mean, you put it back on the same exact way you took it off. Just drop it right on top. And just to make sure it's in the right place, I mean, it'll fit perfectly. But you're gonna see that these holes will line up, and you can drop the screws right back in there. And then on this side, same way. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna be honest, these are really small screws. Alright, so these are all about just where I want them. There you go. So now I'm going to tighten it down, and again, I'm not going to tighten it too much. You don't want to tighten it too much. Just enough to get this this watch put back together. You don't want to strip any of these tiny little screws. That would be a pain. So start with one, tighten it down there, then cross over, tighten this one down, and then from here you can go up or to the right, but you kind of want to do it in the same format there. And there's only 4 screws, so it's really easy. But basically, the watch is put back together. It's working perfectly. Again, using a little 3/64 mini screwdriver and a 377 from Radio Shack, which is the equivalent of, you know, all of these battery models on the back. So it's a really tiny battery, but you shouldn't have to take this anywhere. You should just put in an extra 10 minutes, get the battery, get the screwdriver, do it yourself. So hopefully you guys learned something, how to put a watch battery back in to the Nixon, the Canon specifically. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and, you know, got a little bit out of it. See ya.